friend. How are you today? Sorry, that's how I go live, and I don't even have water in here to drink. Man, that's crazy. Normally I do. Um, I am going to be practicing my pansies and sunflowers again. This is what my desired piece looks like, something along those lines. And so far, this is what that piece has looked like so far. And I've done a couple of practices. Let's be fair. I've done the sunflowers a couple of times. Where did they go? And I guess they went the other way. And all I'm going to say is that obviously I've made some progress on my leaves. At least a little bit, right? That was where I'd practiced them in the funny colors before. But here's these. They don't look half bad. I think I was doing it while it was still too wet, and that's why I wasn't getting enough. I was getting too much streakage in them. So I'm going to play with it a little bit more today. So yesterday when I finished up, I went to do another background and get it ready to rock and roll. And while I was doing that, I realized when I was looking at my original picture here that I really don't see the top of some of these leaves, so I didn't know what they look like. And then I'm looking over here and they're coming down. They're not coming up like these. So all of these have the wrong tops on them. Oh, well, I'll get over it. I'll put my flowers in front of it. That's what I'm going to work on doing, is putting some sunflowers or my fancy pansy or my pansies in here on that. So that said, I think I do want to take my number 12 and I'm going to get it wet. And I have some colors loaded in here. Hopefully they're still wet. They're supposed to still be wet. I'm going to get some green and some yellow, and I'm going to load them on my number 12. I'm going to work it in pretty good. Now, y'all say hi when y'all join me, okay? I would love, hey, Tammy, happy Friday. Friday, yay. Okay, so I've got this loaded. I've got paint pretty good ways up on my brush. And I am going to lead with my lighter color, I think. And I'm going to start kind of up in here. And I'm just going to kind of draw some. Half of this is going to be, hey, Kristen, how are you? Good to have you join me today. I've been working on some sunflowers here. And pansies. Some florals. Let's just go florals. That works, right? Florals. Okay. I'm going to drag it the other way and see what I get. I'm trying not to push too hard on it because I don't want to go too crazy. And I'm going to kind of drag a stem from up here for that sunflower. I'm going to put, that's probably somewhere in here is where I'm going to have that other one. But I'm just going to put some greenery in here for some stems for these. Okay. So what is everybody doing today, this afternoon, and what is everybody going to be doing this weekend? This weekend, we are just doing our usual worship with friends and family at church, but we're not doing anything overly special, but then again, I think worship with God's family is always pretty special. So to me, it is kind of special. So I'm going to set this one over to the side so that maybe I won't have to rework everything into it to make it ready to rock and roll. And I'm going to grab one of my 3/4 inch flats. And since I've already done my leaves, I'm not going to worry about those. Actually, what I'm going to do is I should probably put my sunflowers in here first, after all. So I need to get my big old scruffy. A big old Scruffy. Scruffy's my friend. He's kind of a, you pounce with him a lot and get a lot of texture. For those who watched earlier this week, I showed you how we kind of Scruffy, and you get the two colors on there, and then you kind of go around and come back up, and we do those. So I'm going to leave it facing that way up, and then I'm going to get, oh, I got to get those colors out, don't I? And that is on a different page. Because I remember the colors, but we're just going to make sure I'm getting the right. Burnt umber and licorice. Yes, yes. And there went one of them on the floor. Here's the burnt umber. And I'm going to grab the licorice out of the floor. I'm going to put just a little bit of this one here. I don't know how well y'all can see that. I'm trying to get it where you guys can see it. I'm going to put some burnt on this side. Now we're going to want a lot more burnt umber to a little bit of our licorice. Now, if you can see, I've got brown on this 2/3, and then down here at this end, it's got black. So we're just going to kind of pounce it. You see how it is? Let's see. I think you can tell that this is brown and that's black. It's not like super obvious different, but it is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is come in here. Okay. Now it's kind of big. We'll probably have bristles going off. And we're going to come in here. And I'm going to come around here. And I'm going to grab that. And then we've got one that's kind of the half flower. So we're going to kind of pounce it in like this. And I'm going to take the brown on this tip and kind of hit it on the edge that way. And then hit the black down in there. Okay, so I'm going to put this down in here and I'll pounce it out in a minute and clean it up. We don't typically want to leave those brushes very long in the water. And I need my other number 12. Let me find it. Where is my other number 12? Number 12. I'm going to get it wet. And I'm going to load the yellow moon and the yellow ochre on those. Yellow moon, yellow ochre. And we're loading them together. Number 12 can be done either putting all of one color and then dipping the corner in, or you can do it like we do these bigger brushes, because it's that dividing brush. And I have a preference to do it this way, and I may need to get me a little bit more floating medium. Just the teeniest bit right now. There we go. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start with this little guy over here. I'm going to pull right here. Two. Let me get a little more yellow in there. Okay. Two, and we're going to do a third one right here. We don't want them super long. We want to make sure it's plenty more paint on here. Work it in. You don't want it to be big chunks either. So I'm going to dip the edge in the white, just the edge there on the moon yellow part. And I'm going to come over and we're going to go 1. And we're going to get some more yellow and a little more white. We're going to go 2. Didn't turn it fast enough. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. 3. 4. I'm going to get one more bristle load of the white and the yellow. That little bit of yellow over there. I'm going to put, I think that's all I need right there. I typically try and put 5 on there. What do y'all think? Does that look okay? I think we got a pretty decent little sunflower coming in from that side. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to start pulling these. I'm trying to decide which way I want to hold it. I think I want the yellow ochre on the left-hand side. Or on the, yeah. So we're going to start right here and we're going to twist. Down and twist. Okay. Right. I think I'm needing a little more of this yellow. Maybe even a little bit of it worked in with the white on it. Get a touch more of that floating medium in there. Help it to float a little bit. Okay. I'm going to redo this one because I don't think I've got enough color there for my strokes. I'm just not wanting to cover that background very good. See, this is where I was worried about with these colors behind it. Is it going to cover it? Or is it going to be all see-through? And I'm going to have like see-through sunflowers, which they're not see-through. Not in real life. You want to do it while the center's still kind of wet because you want it to be pulling some of those streaks out. So you get some of that color in there, that brown in there. You want some of it. You don't want too much of it. So if you get too much of it, then it doesn't look the right color, personal opinion. And if you need, you turn your canvas, you turn your paper, you turn your media, whatever it is. I've gotten really good at turning mine when I need to turn it and just not even mentioning it. And I wanted to make sure that I mention it today because if you wanted to, and you're trying to do this and you're not realizing it, I'm twisting mine and somebody may not realize that I'm twisting it. Okay. And I put that into wash. Why did I put it into wash? Well, let's see if I can find Mr. Little Scruffy. Because that was just not real smart. I forgot that I need to just bounce back over this, bounce all over the top of this again. I got it wet, which is not what we do typically. Oh, that was really good stuff. So I'm going to drag the brown and black, and I'm going to try and get what I can of the brown out from under the edge of there. And you kind of bounce back over it. Now, I think I want one more petal over here that's coming out of this. And then we'll bounce that back over that a little bit. And go grab some brown there. I apparently pulled my palette over on top of the color and didn't realize it. There we go. And I'm going to leave that one sitting over there for now. Now to do the bristles on the petals on this one. And again, yellow and yellow ochre, and you work them into your brush good. Get a little bit of that floating medium. You don't need it every stroke, you just need it every few strokes. Maybe a touch of the yellow on the tip. And you know what? I'm going to tap this to get it fresh. I gotta find some brown. I don't think the brown is on there anymore. I think the brown got streaked into the black. So I'm gonna put the brown like that. And hopefully I won't drag myself through it again. But now we're gonna lay it down here, push and twist and pull. Push, twist and pull. Push, twist and pull. Reload. Actually, I'm going to get the other side. Then I'm going to reload. Now I'm going to come. I'm going to grab and twist. Twist and pull. All right. Okay, we're going to lay it down and twist it. Lay, push. You want to. The key is keeping your brush handle straight up while you're doing this. You're pushing, but you're pulling at the same time. So you're pulling your brush through it. Here and up. Here and up. There we go. Didn't have quite enough yellow on it. And then we go push and pull. Try not to do super fat, but I try to do a decent size leaf petal, and I try to overlap them a little bit. I don't want them individually laying there. So let's get some brown. Let's get some black. Let's come back around this direction. There we go. And now I can put it in there because those 3 are done. And it looks like I got a stem, and a stem at least. So I should be good. All right, so I'm going to rinse this one off. And now I'm going to get ready for my pansies and my fancy pansies. Let me get back over here to make sure I'm doing those right. All right, so I'm going to be loading 2 different brushes because as I'm going, I don't want to give up too much. But you don't have to do it that way. In fact, I may go ahead and give in and do it the other way. Just do the one brush since it's just me going here. All right, so we're going to have a pansy over here. The red's going out on this part, so okay, I need some floating medium or a little more of that paint or something. Let me get a little more paint, a little more fresh paint in there. Been working out of this for a couple of days, and maybe I'm just not leaving it wet enough on my sponge that's in here to help keep them wet. I don't know, we'll see. Some of these colors are staying really wet and it's really nice, and then others are not staying wet, which that's okay. We'll get around it. There we go. I'm good and covered. Now, there's one pansy bottom. Now let's get a little more colors. Let's do another one right in here. Yeah. Then we'll do another one right here. Get them started real pretty. Okay, so that's got that started. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some moon yellow where we have the white on here. So we're going to grab our yellow. We're going to come over here and we're going to work it in. Now I have a different spot where I was working it in a different brush the other day, where I was switching brushes where I'd start a new one every time I wanted to start a new one. Okay, but today I'm going to do it like I would if I was doing any regular one. So now we're going to come over here, and with the yellow out, we're going to do one wiggle, 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 wiggle. Two. Okay, that's not got enough yellow in it to do anything, does it? We're definitely going to need more yellow, huh? The other yellow that I've got any kind of traction in right now has a lot of green in it. I don't think I want green in my flower. Under my flower, around my flower, yes. On it, no. So let's try this one again. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Pretty shells. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Obviously, we do not have as much yellow on that side as we do on this side. Now, let me turn it over this way and try again. Thank you, Tammy. I'm kind of excited. They're turning out really well. They're just a little, my problem is I did the leaves because there's a lot of leaves looking like they're behind stuff in this picture, and I just can't seem to get them to cover it up very well. But they're starting to kind of cover up now, so I may just have to paint them a couple of times where I want them. There's those. And then we do our teardrops. Our little teardrop blossoms on it. Hang on, let me get this one done. Oh, I gotta keep undoing the work I've got done. That's not helpful. Not helpful. Okay. So now we're going to come right here and we're going to go 1 and do a teardrop. And then 2 and do a teardrop. And that's our pansy. That's the first one. Now we're going to come right here and do another one. Now I haven't finished it yet, but that's got most of it going right there. So what's everybody doing for the weekend? Okay. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're making a seashell with this. And then we're coming, and I'm going to just go ahead and grab more because I know I'm going to need it. We're going to come over here and get it on both sides. Rub it in real good. I'm just going to turn this one over since I know I'm doing it better. Actually, no, I'm going to try doing it this way because I like doing it this way. It just wasn't wanting to do it just now. 2, up. And why didn't y'all stop me before I put it down? Y'all see what I did? I put the petals the wrong color. You're painting and mowing this weekend. All right, that sounds like fun to me, Tammy. The painting part, anyway. I like to watch when my guy's mowing and make sure he doesn't get hurt. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Now we're going to get a little more yellow and a little more of that berry. We're going to work them both in. And we're going to do another teardrop here. And another teardrop here. And there's another one started. Now we've got slightly different on this one's going to be what we call a fancy pansy. It's going to have a couple of extra leaves in there. So we're going to get a little bit of yellow. And we're going to get a little bit of the berry. We're going to work them in. We're going to come over here and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay, I think it came up higher on that one, didn't it? No? Okay, we're good. I'm good. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Now we're going to add a little bit of white to this yellow and work it in on that end. Kind of grab just a little bit there. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. And 1, 2. Okay, I got to get more white on there for sure. Got to get more of that yellow in there too, but definitely need a little more of that white in there to show up. Up, up, up. All right. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Then, see, that's got way more white in it than I wanted. And I'm just wiggling it around. All right, it'll work. You can still see where there's at least 2 different colors because this one's got a little bit more in there. And then I'm going to come back to my yellow. Now I'm dipping the wrong color in the right color. Contaminating all kinds of ways. Anyways. Okay, so now I'm going to do Here's my teardrop. Teardrop. Now, to see if I can figure out this bud. Got a little bud, pansy bud. Now, I don't know if I want it right there. If I want to try putting it over here. I think I'm going to try putting mine over here just so I've got a little more room with it. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get some more on here. Refresh. Refresh, refresh. If I can find any more. All right. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to kind of do just a little wiggle like that. Then we're going to do a touch and pull. I'm going to get just a hint of white and touch and pull. And then we're going to touch and pull. And we're going to get it all smeared back in real good. And we're going to do another one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's going to look like it's kind of pulling in behind these others, I think. All right, and then we got those little pansies done. All right, I think we've got our pansy buds done. And we've got our pansies started. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little script liner. I'm going to get some black. Kind of water it down just a little bit. I'm not going to water it down a lot, but I'm going to water it down a little bit. What you doing, kiddo? Let me get this thing. All right. Okay, and I'm going to kind of streak up just a little bit. I'm going to leave this one kind of hiding behind the other plants. So I'm going to leave some of our stuff kind of behind there where it's kind of hiding in there. This one won't have the stem on it like the others do. I'll do that. Oh, there's supposed to be another one up in here, but I'm not going to bother with it today. I'm not going to bother with it today. I'm going to put a black dot kind of in here for y'all. This is supposed to be kind of a centered dot. This is supposed to be kind of where it's coming out from a dot. This would be kind of an area where it's coming out from. Okay. And again, I'm going to get this. We want it inky. We kind of want it thinned down. We want it to be able to wiggle real well and slide. And I'm twisting as I'm pulling through there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this one. And we're going to kind of pull some light streaks, kind of like our petals, along our petal. This one even has a little bit of one. So we'll do just kind of. There we go. And then we'll put some yellow in it in a minute. We're going to come down here to this one, and it looks like it's mostly just going out to these sides here on this one. So I'm just going to kind of, I think most of the black is just kind of sticking with these side ones right here. I'm going to get this wet. We want it light and wiggly. I want it to kind of just, I don't want it to be dragging slow. I want it to be kind of wispy and light. And I just stuck my hand in that white. Thankfully, I didn't smudge it. Woo. All right, here we go. And I'm just kind of pulling it as light and airy as I can along the, kind of in line with some of my shell wiggles, like if you were doing it up that you wanted to kind of trace some of those white lines there, but we're not doing it on the white one. We're doing it on the yellow and berry one. Now it looks like this one shows it all over, all of them, with the exception of our little buds down here. So I might just go ahead and work it all the way up, all of those. And I'm going to tilt it a little bit because I want it to keep following that. I kind of like pulling it toward me a little bit rather than trying to pull it away from me. And I'll get just a little bit. Whoop. Oh, great. No, I dropped my brush, though. I got big black blobs all in the middle of it. And it's not going to come off. It's watercolor canvas. Oh, well, I've got shadows. We'll just say they're shadows and we'll roll with it.
Sorry about things alone.
Zoe says she's sorry. She hopes she didn't hear her. She wasn't too loud. I forgot that I had that black paint outside of that, so I have been smearing black paint all over the place. Okay. Now, let's try this one more time. I'm going to roll it to get it really thin. We've got it inky because we want it to stay super thin. Now, this is where the other loop was. So we're just going to come in here and just kind of pull it out. Pull it kind of in that radiating shape of the shell and up each of those limbs. And I've already gotten it up the bottom side of this one. And I don't have another one. Next time I do one, I'll have to have a little one up there at the top. All right, y'all. I'm going to take and do some yellow. We're going to do just kind of a little yellow there. Bless you! And some yellow there. And we're going to do a little yellow here. I'm trying to figure out the right way to put it in there. Okay. And I'm going to take just a little bit of that cafe latte on this little bitty scruffy brush. It's the background color that we did. Actually, now I'm going to take the yellow ochre. That's the color I want. It's the yellow ochre, which was that darker color that we put in our sunflowers. And I'm going to sponge just the teeniest little bit. I'm going to scruffy a little bit in here on our sunflowers.
Opinion.
Give me 1 second to listen because I'm still in work mode. Yes.
Should the diamonds be in the corners like this or like this?
What?
Do you want the diamonds to be in the corner, like sideways where the background is like this? Because you're going to put all 4 of them together and it'll have 1 diamond in the center. So do you think they should go like this or would they hang? Which one would hang on the wall? Like this or like this?
Like that, if you want a diamond. All right. Okay. Technical questions. Why is Kid asking me technical questions? I don't know.
Well, I was thinking
This kid's asking me all kind of crazy technical
I was
questions.
thinking
All right,
of
guys.
doing-
Thank you so much. I will be with you in just one second, kiddo. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me. I don't think it turned out half bad.
I think it looks really good.
I really like how they turned out. I'm still working on it. It's still
It's
a
a learning
work.
process.
Learning, like I said, I learned partway through that my leaves were the wrong shape, but I'm okay. Anyway, oh, and I was going to tell y'all really quickly before I forget. I found some watercolor paper that comes in that you can take out to work on and then put back in your journal after it dries. I found it at Walmart, and it's the same weight as the mixed media paper that I'd found. So it was not too bad, 30 sheets, and I don't remember. I think that was $15 or $20. I think it's 15. So it really wasn't that expensive, but it was just enough. But it was 140-pound paper, so it was really heavier paper. But then when this dries, I can just open this up and stick it back in here if I leave these things on it. So anyway, that was my thoughts. Anyway, we'll talk to y'all for sure on Monday afternoon. You have a great afternoon.